Today we have a really special show for you as we sit down with two awesome guests. Firstly, Dr. Josephine Ip, who has been on our show before. She is, and I'm going to just run through this, chairwoman of the TUE committee for the IPF. She's on the coaching commission, she's head of the medical commission, and she's on the executive of the IPF, and also head of powerlifting in Hong Kong, athlete and coach. And Ernie Chow, who is one of Dr. Ip's athletes. Ernie is a lifter and was a fantastic MC at the recent Asia Africa Pacific Powerlifting Championships. And I got to tell you, he's the sharpest dressed guy I saw in Hong Kong. So we've got a lot to talk about in the show. Enjoy it. Welcome to Coffee and Conversations with Champions. What I really wanted to just chat about was the amazing competition. It was fantastic. We had a lovely time. Wanted to get your guys' thoughts and feelings sort of on the comp, and then also Doc chatting with Ernie about sort of, the lifting and athlete and coach. So, but I think if we can start off, Doc, how did you feel about the competition? Were you? I'm sure you were happy. The banquet was amazing. It was a lovely turnout. So, if you could give us some feedback on that, please.
With regards to the competition, we have 324 lifters.
Mm-hmm.
Finally attended and has a score in the score sheet. So to start with, we have preliminary nomination of about 500. And this makes me very worried because the time is fixed for the venue, and we have only 7 days. So if it is 500, that means we have to compete for day and night, day and night, day and night. So at the end of the day, it is quite a good timing. So every day we finish about 6 or 7 p.m. and then we have a good time to have dinner and rest, and makes everyone happy.
Yes.
So for my staff, I just worry they will be overworked. But at the end of the day, it comes out to be just fit. We don't want to have too small number of lifters. Like the previous championship in India, they have only 160. And it makes life difficult for the APF. And, we have to support the APF with officials, with the traveling and the meal allowance, etc. So for this time, it's better. We still lost a bit, but I think that's fine. We will cover it up with other championships. So as the APF treasurer, so I'm more concerned about the surplus and deficit. And APF lose a little bit is okay. We can bear that. And for our local financial situation, that's fine. We're not really losing money, and that's good for everyone who are organizing. So with regards to the people coming to the championship, we have 18 teams, and we have 3 Oceania teams, 1 African teams. I think that's the number. So it's a small pity that the West Asian teams did not come. And last year, when the championship is in Dubai, and the West Asian teams comes with a great number. And of course, there are advantages and disadvantages. The advantages is that we have better communication with the West Asian, especially the Islamic men and women. It's not easy to have an Islamic woman to participate in the championship. And if the geographical area supports them, they can have the opportunity to compete. And it is always the APF Women Committee trying to promote the sports in women who has less opportunity than other people. So that means we will try to bring it to Islamic women. And as you may know, they have a lot of restrictions. And in Hong Kong, we are happy to have 2 Iranian lifters and they have to make special arrangement, especially in the costumes, in order to be able to join and enjoy the competition. So I think overall, I'm happy with the number, with the mixture of the participation, and also I'm also happy with the result done by our local team.
Yeah, absolutely. The guys did fantastically well, and it was wonderful to see you, Doc, as event organizer, coach, and athlete. So you were working very, very hard, you and your team, and it was fantastic to see. I think if we can just chat about the two ladies that came through to compete, and I think you had one of a representative from the Minister of Sport as well. I mean, it was great to see the ladies did well. Were they happy with their results and how they lifted? And what was the sense for them competing in the tournament? Is it looking positive going forward that they'll be able to participate and more women from that region would be able to participate?
You may know that in Islamic countries, men and women cannot mix together.
Yes.
That's the reason why you never know there is a championship in Iran, because men and women cannot compete in the same venue, and they have to compete in separate venues. And in the women venues, they cannot have men to be present, be it referees, be it juries, officials, and they have to cover up the body parts, and you may know about it. And so this is the first time, and in fact, maybe the second time, they have women lifters coming from Iran, trying to join, at least as pioneers, to join the competition. And their minister, she's a woman, but with a very strong athletic background, trying to see whether this kind of sports can be really open to women. So this is a very important trip for her, and is also very important for Asian women, and see whether they can have the opportunity to compete. And both women lifters from Iran, they did extremely well, and they got medals. And of course, the minister is very happy, and they follow all the Islamic rules. The whole body is covered. So I have a hard time in trying to find the correct costume for them. They compete in classic, but they cannot have a gap of the body tissue be exposed at the knee region. So I get them extra large. In fact, it's 4XL singlet, in order to have the whole thigh cover up. And I think that's the beginning. And of course, to start with, people may be a bit skeptical about women joining the sports. But the advantage of sports is both good for men and women. And women should not be deprived of the opportunity. And you cannot bring a huge step for women in Islamic country to go to the sports, just like the other Western countries. They have to do it step by steps. So I'm ready to do some coach course or some championships for women in Iran. Even for coach course, they cannot be coached by men coach. And so this is a pity that women cannot develop the sports in this Islamic country. But there are Islamic countries that are more open, but most of them, they do not allow women to join the sports.
But I think
I'm sure there would be more women joining powerlifting in the near future.
It was a wonderful thing to see, and they were very excited and very confident, the two lady lifters, to be on the platform. And I think it's a wonderful thing that you've done, Doc, to help them assist in their first sort of regional championship, which was fantastic. If we talk about going back, just to bring Ernie in as well, sort of Ernie, how did you feel about the competition? And obviously he has to be careful because you're his coach, Doc. So if he doesn't say nice things about the competition, you're going to up his loading quite a bit.
And there's always a good side and downsides of everything. So
Yes.
for me, that troubles most
Mm,
is that all along the Asian countries may not be very punctual in everything. They are not punctual in the final nominations, or after final nomination, there's always a little bit of delay. So the
mm,
president delayed final nomination day for 7 days to allow those who are always latecomers to
right.
accommodate them. But even so, for some countries, the lifters they come are not exactly the same people in the final nomination.
Right.
So I have a hard time in trying to trace who is in the list, who are not in the list, and also trace for the payment.
Yes.
Payment is important, as if we do not have the people paying exactly the amount they should pay, then APF cannot organize other activities.
Mm,
And
mm.
all these activities will be money driven. Let's just make sure people are doing things in a fair and square manner.
Right.
So,
How difficult was it for you as the tournament organizer with the late nominations in terms of, because I mean you have to organize medals, you have to do the hotel rooms. There's a lot to organize.
and I think the greatest challenge is the financial burden. We have to secure the hotel rooms,
Hmm.
and if the initial number is over 400 something, then we have to make sure people coming to Hong Kong will have a room to stay. But uh, even if we mention in the nomination, in the invitation letter, they should wire money beforehand. But in fact, only a few countries uh, can do that. So at the end of the day, many people did not turn up,
Hmm.
and then it is quite a bit of a stress. And so it's fortunate we don't lose a lot out of that because there are many big rooms that are not taken up.
Hmm.
And there are um, people who applied for visa, and the visa comes at the last minute. So it's quite a bit of stress before the championship.
Mm.
And of course, finally the visa comes maybe the day before they left home, or in fact on the day they left home, and they finally come to Hong Kong and really enjoy the championship.
Mm. Mm.
And I think it's a bit of stress to the as well. And fortunately, we have your team of loaders. Loaders are just the soul of the championship. If they are fast, everything goes smooth. And then if
Yes.
they cannot do the job well, and then there may be accidents,
Mm.
people will get injured, and the pace will slow down, and people overwork and can finish maybe at 10 or 11.
Hmm.
Then the whole week, and they will be very fatigued and make things really not smooth. So I am happy that your team is doing a very good job, and the people
Thank you.
just admire your speed.
Yeah, the guys were fantastic. It was unbelievable. It was a lot of fun to be part of that team because the speed and the precision. Doc, it's a lot of pressure because you don't want to be the last person finished at your station. You don't want to be the guy holding up everyone in the loading. So yeah, thank you. It was a lot of fun. I mean, and it went very smoothly, and it went very, very well. So, speaking in terms of competitions, what are you planning next? What's next on the
Um,
cards?
for Hong
Mm,
Kong would like to host more Asian level championships.
mm-hmm,
So hopefully we can do it once every year or once every 2 years. So
Yes.
the near future one will be next year in 2024. We will host the Asian Equipped Powerlifting. And because the Asian Equipped Powerlifting, there are less number of lifters. Just to make sure APF will not lose money significantly, probably we combine two championships together. And
Right.
most likely we will do Asian University Cup. And
Okay.
Asian University Cup is classic. So we have a combined classic and equipped powerlifting championship in the same duration. And it will be about the same number of days, 6 or 7 days, just like this year.
Right. Which was fantastic. Also, so Doc, how did you feel about your athletes' performance? You said you were happy with them. How the guys did in the competition, how the Hong Kong athletes did.
And of course, we have good lifters who
Mm.
break local records and also Asian records. So I have to congratulate these lifters, especially many of them, they're young people and they are relatively new in powerlifting in Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also very pleased we have over 20 masters lifters. That means people are healthy and can lift up to old age. Just like my
Yes.
coach, Mr. Park, he's 83 and still lifting.
Yep.
I think the most important thing is not the number, the kilos he lift, is the spirit that he will keep going,
Yes.
try to excel himself to do what he can do at
Mm.
this elderly age.
Yes.
And I'm sure he is happy. At least he can lift. I can go to the platform and have free bright lights. I think
Yeah.
that at such an age, or in my age,
Yes.
number is not the most important. Is just to let oneself feel that
Mm.
you are still living.
Yeah.
You
Doc,
are
and also,
keep
Doc,
going.
I think, yeah, the range of motion that's required for a lift to be legal, you have to get your depth in the squat, you have to get down correctly in the deadlift and lock out correctly. So that range of motion for someone who's older is a fantastic thing to see, because it shows the mobility they have is quality of life. You know, when you can move, you have freedom in later life.
Yeah,
Mm.
squat requires quite significant flexibility in the lower limb. And for most of the people, when they start to get degeneration in the hips and knees, it is really a challenge. It's also a challenge to me. I start to have some knee pain. And such an age, you require a lot of stretching exercise and also perfect technique in order to get the adequate depth. So that's good for elderly. If you have a demand in the sports, then you keep training in flexibility and strength and endurance to change the technique that can accommodate the problem in the joints. And it is fun and at the same time challenge.
Yes, absolutely. How have you, we touched on it briefly in our last conversation. How have you seen the growth in the sport? I know there's been some growth amongst the younger lifters, but in the older lifters, are there older members of the community in Hong Kong that are coming through into powerlifting?
I think nowadays people are more health conscious,
Mm.
especially there are more people going to the elderly. So 60 is by definition not old at this time. It's probably quite a sunny age. So it's
Yep,
just the beginning.
absolutely.
So people are more well off,
Mm.
more educated, and understand they need some sports activities or some
Mhm.
training in order to maintain good health, especially bone health and muscle health,
Mm.
to improve their capacity in their activity of daily living and enjoy good health when they grow older, rather than becoming very fragile and worry about frequent falls or lost the capacity to walk and enjoy life.
Yes.
So there are more people going to do some training, whatever kind of training, be it powerlifting, be it aerobic exercise or general fitness. So people basically are more health conscious than before. So with our promotion, especially in elderly people, there are quite a number of senior citizens coming to our classes. Our classes are basically for everyone.
Yes.
And Mr. Park is still coaching, so he's a live example that if you keep going, you can be healthy and strong, even at the age after 80. So he's coaching regularly, and not just young people, and also middle age. And there are some people coming just to be coached by him because they are also old. And our oldest students to attend our classes, again, is around 85-year-old and women,
Wow.
not just men.
Men. Okay, fantastic. That's fantastic. If we talk about someone a little bit younger, Ernie, how did you get into lifting?
Well, I started training gym, and then I was reading some fitness magazine, and I noticed that because I used to do machine only, but then I want to challenge myself, and I noticed that there is squat, bench press, deadlift. I didn't know powerlifting by then, but slowly when I start to practice it and read more about things, and I start to get to know there is such a sport, and then slowly start to practice that. Yeah.
Yes. And how did you meet Dr. Ip?
So I joined a few local competitions, and then I was talking to her, asking for advice and stuff. That's how we met.
Okay, fantastic. How is the relationship, Doc, with you and your lifters? Is it quite a close relationship, or is it just sort of in the gym and then you come, you lift, and then you go your separate ways? Or is there a little bit of sort of going for coffee afterwards, or for team dinners and these? Is there a team sense, a team community? That was a question for you, Doc.
That for me? Oh,
Yes,
okay.
sorry,
I'm
that
not
was
paying
for you.
attention.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No problem.
So you're talking about the
The
team members.
community. Yes, the team.
Okay. So for powerlifting, we start in the mid 80s. So our first powerlifting championship in Hong Kong was held in 1991.
Sure.
So during that time, there may be up 10 lifters, and the organizers and the lifters, they are the same group of people. Then gradually we have a bigger community. So Mr. Park is one of the oldest generation of powerlifters, and in fact, the second generation, most of them, like those in my age, were coached by him. So we have a group of people starting to do overseas championship in A level in the 1990s.
Right.
So, and afterwards, we have training center in the city. Then we start to have classes, and also we have a place for training. That means people can come to train powerlifting, and certainly our association also looks after weightlifting. They can do either of the sports. Then we can solicit more funding from the government to support younger lifters to go to overseas championships. Then the community starts to grow, and in fact, now we have solicit fundings for multiple overseas championships in a year, and also for local championship, we have at least 3 or 4 in a year, and the whole community, in fact, is growing. But at the same time, we have other crises as well. When powerlifting becomes more popular sports, and there are other powerlifting bodies coming in Hong Kong and trying to form their own powerlifting bodies. As you might know about the WP, WP, and also now is a USAPL Hong Kong. And IPF rules forbid these lifters to join the IPF championship. They must go through a suspension period. And we are facing a lot of young people. They would prefer to join other powerlifting bodies. I think for some reason, they have a very strong peer influence. And maybe for us, our image is not as attractive because our executive committee members, they are older, probably in the middle age or in the elderly.
Yes.
And then they may have the feeling they prefer to go to people of the same age. And we are very tough about anti-doping. So we do our own out-of-competition tests. While in other powerlifting bodies, they are not doing any anti-doping tests or seriously doing anti-doping tests. So this is our current challenge. And then we try to go through it by organizing more educational programs to younger people. So certainly for the core group, who go to overseas championships, we have a very close relationship. They train in a training center. But there are a lot of people, they are not training in our training center, and they have coaches outside. So we are at a position as organizing people who go to local championships and overseas championships.
Right.
And we just make sure the selection criteria is fair to everyone.
And I think it's a big challenge with other federations coming in, particularly with the doping side, because young athletes might have no intent of doping, but once they are competing, they understand that, you know, their performance may be capped, and they're almost forced to start to use performance enhancing drugs. And again, those are, you know, there might be certain legal ones or others are illegal. And from a drug addiction or drug dependency side, there's a very big risk. So also, you know, I think for primarily here in South Africa, the big thing is that the IPF, the South African Powerlifting Federation, we belong to this because we want IOC recognition. We want that opportunity where those opportunities don't exist with the other federations. So they may call themselves national champions, but they're not in terms of Olympic recognition on the highest possible level. What are you guys doing currently to attract younger lifters? So that's what you're using Ernie for. So.
For us, we try to organize activities in schools, mainly secondary schools. We have a school promotion scheme that a school headmaster may decide to use a small amount of money to hire our coaches and also the equipment. We just do a demonstration of the sports. So if the students they're interested, they can organize classes together with us, or they send students to come to our classes. And the other way to try to attract more younger people is go to the community center. And as we have discussed last time, we go to the community centers and try to get hold of the younger people who may have a talent in sports, but may not have a lot of talents in academic studies.
Yes.
And then we try to bring them into a sports to learn how to excel themselves, learn better self-discipline, etc. And for local lifters, we try to organize more championships and encourage younger people, especially sub-juniors, to participate. And of course, our championship is for everyone. So for junior or for open, probably they target on extremely good results and try to join overseas championships. So we make it a better opportunity for everyone. We organize championships from time to time. In the past, we have two, means one time powerlifting or one time bench press. Now we have added a few more. And also we add some single lift event. So in IPF, there's only bench press, a single lift event. we try to make people really enjoying participation. So we have a single lift deadlift, we have a single lift squat.
Okay.
So even if the young people or anyone who are not good at all three lift, they can find one to join and just make
join. That's
themselves happy.
fantastic. That's
Enjoy to be
fantastic.
an athlete.
Okay, fantastic. Oh, so Ernie, is there anything that you would sort of like to add to this from your side?
Yeah, because I participate mostly in the single lift meet, and I think that's a good opportunity for people because Hong Kong, whether you're a student or you're at work, you have a lot of stress. So some people they might not have enough time, sufficient time to practice equally all the three lifts. So these are a good way to get them into the sport and to meet other people to build a community and to slowly once they start to compete. When you have the first, you have the second and third. They will start to think, oh wow, food powerlifting is cool, so maybe we can join that. So that's a good way to attract more people.
Yes, 100%. What has powerlifting meant to you? What does it mean to you?
To me, right?
Yes, sorry, to you, Ernie. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it means a lot to me. Some of the time I even joke with my friends that I learn more from powerlifting or fitness training than in school. Because it's very much like life. First of all, you have to embrace the fact that you have weakness, and then you spend time to tackle that, to overcome that. And some of the time we might not. Well, most of the time you don't know what sort of condition you're at. Sometimes you have a good day, sometimes you have a bad day, but regardless of that, you still have to keep your head up, get the hard work in, and to move on. And same for life. There are a lot of obstacles that we face, but that doesn't matter. That as long as we see it as an opportunity to learn to improve ourselves. So to have that positive attitude to see things. That's at least that's what I learned from powerlifting, and that's what I learned from training over time. So yeah.
That's fantastic. Where would you guys, the question to both of you, where would you like to see the future of powerlifting, firstly in Hong Kong going and then in the region?
Maybe I give my thoughts.
Yes.
I suppose in Asia, because I'm involved in APF, powerlifting is growing. And at the same time, we have to tackle anti-doping issue. And this is getting a real problem. Because if you assess the progress of the lifters in the past few years, the number they can lift is soaring extraordinarily rapid.
Right.
And is somewhat not really natural. But for anti-doping tests, what we can do at most is a higher number of in-competition tests in Asia. Out of competition tests is somewhat difficult, especially in some area where the NADO is not really working very efficiently. So for APF, what we can do is we do a higher number of in-competition tests, just like this time in Hong Kong, we do up to 8% of an in-competition test, while the IPF standard is about 5% in-competition test, while the funding is put more to OCT. But it seems to be not possible in Asia. At least for some countries, they do not have the nomination on time. So what lifters come to us, we're not too sure they are the people that are nominated. So in this sense, this is really a battle that we need to fight. And as people are more health conscious, and then this kind of sports can be easily done in ordinary gym, I would expect there will be more people engaged in the sports. So another challenge certainly is other powerlifting bodies are trying to bring the sports with all sorts of medications. And this is a pity. As you might know, people may get addicted to it once they get a huge result
Yes.
with the first time doping. They may not be able to get rid of it from their life. And this is really a pity for those young people who have great potential to do good results. We're trying to get the fast track, but illegal fast track. So
Yes.
we try to stop that, but it is really a challenge.
Okay. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, using these drugs that are not allowed in the sport, that is cheating. So the results you're getting are not really the results you would get without them. And you setting yourself up for carrying that type of behavior through into the rest of your life. You know, even talking away from the addiction, just talking from a mental health aspect where you know that you sort of you understand that you've won this, everyone's giving you pats on the back and everyone's praising you, but in your heart you know you cheated, and that can be quite damaging for a young person's well-being and mental health. And aside,
Well, I suppose this is a sort of values that has developed in our lifters.
yes,
So we try to bring things to the correct track.
yes.
And this is not easy, I must say.
No, it's a very real struggle, because I think the argument that is thrown back is that, well, everybody's doing it, so why can't I? And it becomes problematic, as you said, Doc. But then the risks are just astronomical, and they are life change. You know, they can affect the quality of your life for the rest of your life. So even after your lifting career, you're paying the price for using these drugs that were not really designed or intended to be used in the way that they've been used. Yeah. So hypertension, heart disease, to different different cancers. I've unfortunately seen it with people that I've known over my lifetime, because I'm not a youngster either, where they were using steroids in their 20s, and now when they're sitting married with families and wanting to raise their children and even their grandchildren, they're sitting with major heart disease, hypertension. There's been cancer incidents, and they don't know whether that's traced back to sort of their behavior, where they wanted to be bigger or stronger for a number of years. So it's important to get that message out there, Doc. So I think, Doc, how are you for time? Because I know, Joe, it's quite late where you are.
My local time?
Yeah, no, I'm saying, are you okay for time? Are you okay to carry on a little bit?
Okay, I'm fine.
Okay,
No,
all right,
no
lovely. Okay, thank you. I really do appreciate it. I'd like just to chat sort of about the coaching, the athlete, sort of with you and Ernie as well, just to get some sort of feedback from Ernie. I know, Ernest, you competed in strongman. I saw a post on your social media. How was that?
Yeah, it was 3 years ago.
Okay.
My second ever competition. It was so because I always love to explore different sorts of strength sports.
Yes.
To see where my limit is, but of course in a natural way,
Yeah.
because sportsmanship is one thing is very important. Not everyone can be world champion, but everyone can be a well respected athlete. So
Yes.
to play fair is definitely one thing. Yeah.
How have you found, we were speaking about mental health and challenge
Mhm.
and pushing yourself into areas where you're uncomfortable. Ernie, how have you found that has helped you in other areas of your life? And then firstly, and then secondly, for a question for Dr. Ip, how have you found the lifting helping younger athletes in terms of overcoming other challenges in their life? So if I can get Ernie to answer that first, and then Dr. Ip.
Yeah, so speaking of comfort zone, I think in life we always face this issue when we want changes. to some extent, we have to get out of our comfort zone. And people probably think, oh, powerlifting is only about squat, bench, and deadlift, but it also has a lot to do with it, because when you want to break through, you might need new style of training, new ways of training, and every time when you hit a PR, you're facing weights that you have never faced before. So pretty much in one sense or the other, you need to get yourself out of the comfort zone in order to keep improving yourself. That helps a lot. That builds a mentality, because you might not, get it done in the first time. You probably fail a few times, but that's okay. I mean, that's the spirit of it, right? You keep doing it. You keep trying to figure out ways. So that's also a problem-solving skills that you're developing here, and also the mentality of the can-do attitude, that sort of things, which has a huge carryover to life.
How has that helped you in other areas of your life?
Well, at work, when the projects, sometimes not everything is smooth, right? So, but it's okay, because different people, they have their own concerns. So as long as we figure out a way to work with them, and powerlifting is not, although we compete by ourselves, it's not it's a team sport, I would say, because you need a team of people to support you. So to communicate with them, your coach, your fellow lifters, because at warm up they help you as well. The communication skills that you develop through that also helps in real life situation, where at work, be it or other social services, where you work with a group of people, how you communicate effectively with them, and how you get things done. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Doc, so from your side, how have you seen the sport of powerlifting and the challenges in powerlifting that athletes have to overcome, the delayed gratification, the patience, and also, doing things that they never believed they were capable of doing? How have you seen that affect athletes in their personal lives?
For myself, for powerlifting and also my own work, so it is just a pathway of transcending what you can do in the past. So it's always requiring patience and hard work, and also problem-solving techniques. So at my age, I won't feel really stressful to get out of my comfort zone. So I'm so used to it. But for coaching younger people, most of the younger people, they are motivated, but there are things that they don't feel like to do. So so what the coach can help is trying to encourage them to do things that they prefer not to do. For other things, they are just automatic. You don't need to really force them to do something really hard, so they will do it themselves. But there are some points or some blind spots that you need to bring younger people to go through that. So it will depends on the coach experience, and also the capability to transmit these important points to younger people.
Okay.
So for me, the joy or the challenge of coaching younger people, be it in powerlifting or in my own job, is how to bring these people, try to mentor these people to do things on their own. You cannot spoon feed younger people. You must bring them to have the capacity to order things by themselves and become automatic, and become more mature. And for very young people, like the sub-junior and beginners, they may not know about their full potential. And so as coaches, we have go through the pathway ourselves. So we, from the very beginning, we don't believe we have the capacity to lift a weight of, say, 50 kilo. So if I remember the days that I started training, just a bar, 20 kilo, I need maybe 3 months to go through that.
Yes.
And of course, this is a pathway. If you give up, you are not going to do more than that. So how to encourage people, try to bring people to go through sticky points in the lift or sticky points in the life. That's require the technique of the coach, and is challenging and at the same time is rewarding.
Absolutely, absolutely. How did the sport change for you, Doc, going from an athlete to becoming a coach and an athlete? Did you see it in a
I think
different way?
Learning and teaching are the two sides of the coins. That is the sentence that I always use to talk about when I teach people to do something, be it sports or in my profession. So at the same time, when I coach, I also learn something myself. And this is how I improve my own technique and also um, my way of teaching other people. So it is also a process which is self-learning and also self-actualizing. And certainly it is a rewarding experience as well.
Right, absolutely. I think, do you find coaching more rewarding than lifting?
I
Coaching
enjoy
athletes?
both.
Okay, 100%.
I enjoy both. For lifting myself, I want to improve my performance, and I have to think of ways how to improve my performance.
Yes.
And my experience of improving my own performance can be applied to my students. While when I coach, because people will have a different anatomy, a different strength of the muscle, different mentality. So it is another challenge. It's not just applying your own knowledge on yourself, but also applying your knowledge on different people. So, and of course, there are some people who can match me better and some not as good as the others. So it is a joint effort to improve in performance in the students. So this is one way. It's different and also more challenging than just improving on myself.
Okay. Oh, fantastic, Doc. Thank you. Is there anything else that either of you would like to add before we finish?
Okay, Ernie, do you want to add something?
Okay. Doc, get him to talk. He's been way too quiet today.
I'm getting tired.
Yep.
Well, with regards to my own expectation, certainly I want to do a better number. It's always the desire of want to do better.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
how to get better? As I'm growing old, so the body is deteriorating. While at the same time, I'm more involved in organizing powerlifting activities. More time involved in my work. So how to figure out a way is it's not easy, but I will try to do that as far as possible. And as one sees the deterioration and the initial response is unhappy. I say for all masters lifters, when they see the performance, okay, it's only a small percentage of what they do in the past, is definitely upsetting. And how to cope with it, again, is a challenge of life. And it's not just powerlifting in terms of numbers, and then I see deterioration in other aspects, and how to tackle it and overcome this negative feeling is essential to make myself happy. And it is not just the number is important, the experience, and also new technique that I've learned is also important. And even I cannot bring significant improvement in myself, I can bring improvement in my students.
Yes.
And so at certain point of time, probably the performance of your students becomes more important than my own performance.
Yeah. It's a wonderful balance as well, where to see them performing and then also you're fighting for your own numbers. But I think everything that you're doing, Doc, in terms of where you said you're looking for different ways to improve, ultimately that's different ways to improve your quality of life and your health as well. Because when the numbers are good, then we are healthier and we are stronger. So there's two benefits to this wonderful sport. There's the fun of chasing the numbers, and there's the quality of life that it gives us as well. So very, very happy. Doc, thank you so much for your time. I know it's late there, and we love chatting to you, and we're looking forward to having you back on again. So really, thank you for your time, Doc.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you to
Yeah.
have the opportunity to talk to you again.
Thank you. It's been awesome, and I think for now also I think we've scheduled just a time to chat to Ernie about his lifting and what that means to him. So we can chat now, or Doc, if you have stuff to do, you're welcome to hop off the interview, whatever's easier for you to do.
I can keep listening.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I think that's good. That makes me happy. Ernie, were you expecting that?
Yep. Well, not really, but it's fine. Yeah.
I have to do my DJ sound. So so Ernie, I think we're going to cut in here. Basically, I'm going to do a clap. And when I edit, that'll signify the separation of the two shows. And I think so, Ernie. Yeah, it's like I think that the chat's going to be a little bit different with your coach watching.
Yep.
So, hey, talk to me. Tell us a little bit about yourself, sort of who you are, and then also very briefly again, just how you came to the sport of powerlifting, please.
Sure. So I'm Ernest. I would say I'm relatively new to the sport. I've been training, focusing on powerlifting for about 2 years, which I enjoy quite a lot because one thing that because I have done a lot of different strength sports, weightlifting, CrossFit, strongman. But one thing I really like about powerlifting is that it's very friendly to people. Let's say for example, you can practice it in any commercial gym.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also very functional, so that lays down a good foundation to any other sports. So you carry over that, and one thing I particularly enjoyed about powerlifting is that it's not just a physical thing, because the state of mind has to be at a certain level. So of course some people have strength, but they can't concentrate, they can't coordinate their body. So you have to deal with all this, and also the fear of moving heavy weight. And at the same time, powerlifting, you can't always just do heavy weight. You have to sometimes drop down the weight a bit. So let your ego let aside it, and then to really train your technique. And patience is also one thing, because nothing can be achieved overnight. So and all this have taught me many lessons that I can apply in life, with at work, with my friends, in different sorts of relationship with people, and how to get things done. And also one thing I have to say is that a lot of people. So I couldn't believe, if you ask me about the way that I can do today, although it's not very heavy, but if you asked me 2 years ago, I wouldn't believe that I was able to achieve it. But I didn't achieve it, in one step. So I break down small tasks and then small targets and achieve them one by one. And that's also how you deal with things in life, right? You want to achieve something big. That's your target there. First of all, you have to be patient. Secondly, you have to have a good mentor, and I was lucky enough to have Dr. Ip as a good mentor. And slowly, then you have to break things down. So from big tasks, you break them down and then achieve them one by one. And of course, have faith in yourself. As long as you're doing the right thing, then yeah. So same in powerlifting, same in life.
Right. It's a wonderful metaphor for life, and it's a good way
Yeah.
to learn life through the lifting. How do you find the community? What does the community mean to you in powerlifting?
So I have been training with Dr. Yi for 9 months,
Mm-hmm.
and so in Montreal Sports France, and it's a lovely community because not just Dr. In addition to Dr. Yi, there are also more experienced lifter who are always willing to share, what they observed from me, give, share their point of views, helping each other. I think that's a big spirit of it because if you go to commercial gym, you sort of only do your own things.
Yes.
You don't communicate, you don't interact with people. And one thing about powerlifting is that you take way longer rest time than in between sets than sort of bodybuilding training. So you have the time
That's
to
what I love about it.
yep. So you have sort of time to socialize,
Yeah.
and to get to know people, and to build a relationship there, to make friends and helping each other. Because some of the time when you at a higher intensity, you probably need people to support you, and other people might need your help too. So that's wonderful. And also recently, so I've been doing equip park bench press for 6-7 months. And equip lifting also requires a lot of help and stuff. So
Yes.
I'm very glad to have all this experienced lifter to pass on their knowledge to the next generation, which is me, to learn from them, so that it shortens my learning curve, and that's good because the thing about the community is that people are willing to share. If you're experienced, we have some very high level lifters, and they're willing to share. They're super friendly. That's extremely important because sharing is caring, right?
Yeah.
So it's always good to have that kind of spirit. Yeah.
It's the most wonderful thing where the ones you're training against or maybe competing against for a place on the national team or the regional team, or for a medal at a competition,
Yeah.
those are the ones cheering the loudest for you and wanting to help you as well, because when they get stronger, we get stronger. How have you found the community in competition? Sort of the other athletes from around the world and around your region. What has your experience been with
Oh,
that?
that was a lovely community. So yeah, of course. So we met with some. I competed in bench press and equip bench press, so classic and equip. At this time, I met with a lot of multiple times world champions, or even record holder, and they are all extremely friendly people, willing to share about their experience, their thoughts as well, supporting each other, and because in every competition there's only one champion, but then after that we can still be friends, right? Friendship and how you support each other, because uh, not only are we competing with each other, but we are growing together,
Yes.
to push the limit of the sport. So that is I was quite surprised by that, to be honest, because I watch a lot of worlds and stuff, and finally being able to see them in person.
Yes,
I
yes.
never thought they would be that friendly.
Right.
Yeah, and that's also to my surprise. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I think if I remember correctly, with some of the Japanese lifters, you took them around the city as well. I think you went to one or
Yep.
two shrines, if I'm remembering that correctly. And they spoke very highly of you, and it meant a lot to them. I think that's the wonderful thing about this community, and it's fantastic to meet your heroes.
Yep.
You know,
Absolutely.
huh? It's all. So what does the future
Yep.
hold for you with powerlifting?
So of course, I hope to keep improving myself to break at first local record,
Mm-hmm.
maybe international record. Uh, yeah. So that's one thing that I really enjoyed about is okay. So in competition, a lot of people think about, oh, I have to compete with who and who. But the sports to me is about competing to myself. So as long as I get better than myself yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm happy
Yeah.
with it. As long as I've breakthrough, so that's definitely the biggest part of it.
Right.
To challenge myself, get myself out of the comfort zone, and of course, hopefully to can break more international records and reunion with all these international friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think you've said it so well, because it's we are always only competing against ourselves ultimately, even though there's one champion. But those who are pushing us, or that we're having to chase, or that are chasing us, they're just making us better, and they're helping us to
Yes.
get better. And that's what's so wonderful about it. Oh, that's awesome, man. Thank you. Is there anything else personally that you'd sort of just like to share or talk about?
Well, so this time, as I said, my first ever international meet
Mm,
and my first ever being part of the league. Because again, I used to watch, through the screen a lot of times, and
yeah,
now I'm not only was I a lifter, I was also helping out with uh, different roles,
you're
commentating.
a fantastic MC. Absolutely,
Yeah, yeah, MC as
looking
well.
very
Thank you so much.
sharp. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
So being able to participate in such a great event from different angles to
Hmm.
experience it is, I would say, surreal. And meeting with a lot of really talented, really hardworking, yet extremely nice people
Yes.
also uh, makes me learn. I learn a lot. I learn a lot from the whole experience, and I was also, the whole thing is so unreal because the spotters, they were the world's people, same people, and being able to have them spotting me is such a
Yes.
great honor, and being able to share the stage, the platform with so many strong lifters.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, so that makes me to want to improve more so that I can maybe challenge them one day, be a close competition to them. Yeah.
Absolutely. And they want that as well,
Yep.
huh? Which is absolutely awesome. Oh, cool, dude. And thank you so much for it's been wonderful, wonderful chatting. You shared some fantastic insights as well. And you've put it across very, very eloquently and very well, which is what I'm very happy about, because the point of the podcast and these conversations is we want to create as much awareness about our sport as possible. I always
Yep.
say to people, everyone knows who Ronaldo's mother is and what she looks like, but they don't know much about the sport of powerlifting, if anything. And it's just, there are so many benefits from a young age all the way through to old age, men and women, that can benefit from the physical and the mental aspect and the community aspect of the sport. So, uh, Ernie and Doc, I'm very grateful again to you guys for your time. Thank you for sharing with us what you have shared, and I'm looking forward to chatting over the years. As you're getting closer and closer, and then you're on that podium as a world champion and breaking world records. That's what I'm looking forward to. It's going to be wonderful to watch, and I'm
Same,
grateful
same.
and honored to be part of it. Yeah. So thank you. So
Thank you.
awesome, guys. Thank you so much. And have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I was going to say, you guys will be good, happy to know I've finally gotten over my jet lag coming back now. So it's time to come and visit again.
Yep.
So thank you. Ernie, thank you. Doc, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, guys.